Hey, this is Jared Cochran with Family Church. Welcome to our podcast. I'm excited that you're here. I hope that God moves through this message to reach you so he can move through your life. Be sure to share and subscribe so that we can reach the world with God's word. Enjoy the message. Welcome back to the family room. Another warm Wednesday. Is this thing on? Shout out to Benny.
I just want to make sure it's on.
Now that everyone's eardrums are blown. Recliner, couch, front porch. That's where you're watching from. This is the family room. We're here to, you know the deal, to break down Sunday's message and to dive a little bit deeper into it. Kelsey will have our discussion questions and everything. I'm blanked out. What's the announcements? Sorry. Took 1 week
Coming
off.
at you on a Wednesday night. This is Kelsey. I don't know. I really have always wanted to do that. All right.
Well, there you go.
All right. So Saturday is Bring a Family Board Night. I was just seeing if you were paying attention when I talk.
Yeah.
Bring
Saturday.
a board
night.
family
It's not Friday?
night. I know. That's not what I said.
I know.
Never mind. You'll rewatch it and understand. So Saturdays, Bring a Board Family Night. And
Bring a family board night.
Yeah,
I know what you said.
it's from, who's April? Oh, your dad's looking forward to April. That's awkward. Don't tell your mom.
Who is Ash?
Anyways, from 6 to 8. So we did this last year. It was really fun. We didn't have a huge turnout. It was probably 12 people or so, 12, 15 people.
Yeah.
Maybe not even that.
Big, was it? Oh, it was opposite last year. Duh.
It was really
But it was a lot of
cool.
fun.
Yeah, it was really fun.
And the food was delicious.
Yeah, so the food was really good. So basically, bring your favorite board game. I think we ended up playing like Uno.
Yeah, we had Uno attack.
And it's going to bring a board and then bring another board, the charcuterie. Those boards, and just be creative. I think someone brought like a dessert one. You don't have to bring your typical like cheese and meat. Bring a bunch of just different. Oh, it's fun. And we just kind of like had a bunch of snacks. I think we're gonna do Bible trivia this time. You're on my team, Dibs. You're on my team. Sorry, Dibs. I'm calling it now. And then we're gonna have our volunteer brunch. It's just, we didn't want to do a meeting. We just wanted to do food. I think I'm gonna do a taco bar after Sunday service.
For the volunteers.
Just for our volunteers. It's just for our teams.
For those that serve.
So just for them. April's gonna be pretty crazy. We're ending the 7-week, no excuses Esther study is going to be ending like April 1st or the next Tuesday?
I don't know.
So
I'm
it's
not
like
a woman, so
first,
I don't know when the women's
Okay, the men's is in there too there, buddy. Dining with Dignity is the first Thursday of every single month, second Thursday. Oh, Lord. I think it's the first Thursday.
Let's just move on.
Anyway, the St. Augustine Spring Extravaganza is April 5th. That is not thrown by us. That is from the Jacksonville Business Expo.
Something like that.
Wow, I'm falling apart today.
Yeah.
That is from 1 to 5. She's going to have, that was the same people that threw the thing in March, the craft. Anyway, moving on. So that's going to be an Easter egg hunt. It's going to have a bounce house. It's going to have food. It's going to be really, really cool. I think we can make that one. We have softball in the morning, and then I think we can come. So that'll be fun. And then I'm missing a lot of them on here. Oh, man.
That's fine. We don't need to go through everything. I want to jump in. I don't feel like taking 20 minutes for announcements.
Okay.
It's on our website, familychurch.social/events.
Baptism is the most important. Baptisms are at the end of the month.
Well, it's not the most important. The most important is Resurrection Sunday, where, Jesus died for our sins and rose again so that we could be forgiven of everything that was against us.
Next week you can do the announcements. How about that?
That's fine.
Fine.
And we are nearing the end of, of the Divine Invasion series. So looking forward to that. We're getting close to that. We are now in chapter 2, and that is what we are here to discuss today. Episode 8, Luke chapter 2, verses 1 through 21. I could have just done 20 in retrospect, but 1 through 21. talking about the birth of Jesus. The King has come. The King is here. And let us know your favorite quote or anything like that, something that stood out to you. I know I had several little feedback messages about, how did I just draw a complete blank on it? What was it? 2 seconds.
Oh, no, hurry up. I don't want to spend 20 minutes on
You're funny. The going the extra mile. I guess they talked about that in the Esther study last night at the Tuesday Bible study night, and they were talking about the extra mile walk. So that was really cool. I had a lot of fun preaching this one. This one was, I liked this one a lot. It was cool. If no one else, for me.
Oh,
Discussion,
it was really good. It was really good. I listened for once.
That's good. I'm glad.
Yeah.
It's,
I'm literally kidding.
Gotta do something. Discussion question number 1. How does the idea of Jesus coming at the fullness of time challenge our understanding of God's timing in our own lives and in history? So I had, and I haven't finished the book. I don't remember the name of the book, so I can't quote it here, where I got a bunch of this information from with what? Did you just break your thing?
The J broke off.
Oh,
I don't
man.
know where it went.
But I had a lot of fun studying, because I didn't think about it until I was reading this book, and it was talking about that, the why. This guy was going through, the entire book is going through evidence about Jesus and his life without using the Bible. Mm-hmm. So looking at all strictly just secular books or articles or whatever else, just things from history, archaeology, everything, just to look for the evidence of Jesus. And the guy that wrote it is a detective, and he solves like cold cases and stuff he like solves
murders. Did you
murders.
not use the book that we bought, the cool book? Which one? The guy, the archaeology guy.
No, I didn't use that one to study.
Oh, that is a really cool book.
That is a cool book. But this guy, he solves murders without a body being present. And that's what he applied to prove. I think he kind of set out to disprove Jesus, because that's what a lot of atheists kind of tend to do. And then
whoopsie daisies.
Yeah, and then they come to find out. Hopefully, when you go searching for the truth, you will find it if you search with an open mind. If you already come with a closed door, then generally you're going to look for what you're looking for. Anyways, so I just had a lot of fun studying that. I know you like a lot of history. Well, you like American history and stuff like that. But I don't know. I had a lot of fun reading that. And when it was coming up to, I had that introduction kind of planned way ahead of time. I knew as soon as I got to the birth of Jesus, I wanted to share just that information about this is why he came when he came, because no one ever thinks about that. We don't think, why didn't he come sooner? Why didn't he come, right after Adam sinned and redeem all of humanity? Why didn't, why didn't he come now? And, you just see now if he came in today's technology, it'd be awesome, it'd be great. But at the same time, I don't think as many people would end up believing in him strictly just because there's so much misinformation that goes around. There's so much with Photoshop and AI and now
hold on to that.
What?
Don't go into that.
The AI, well, I know, but just all of that, technology is advancing at such a truly alarming rate where I don't think it'll be long before there will be entire movies that we would go to the theater for that will be completely just made by AI, and you won't know the difference, which is insane.
Which cracks me up because we have an entire society built around actors and actresses.
Well, it's flooding everything.
And that just makes me giggle kind of, because I'm not going to be mean. Never mind.
Well, I get what you're saying, yeah, but you got to think in every capacity. It's literally we watched the Terminator and laughed, and then we're like, whatever, and then we do it anyways, because it's and I'm not trying to jump into conspiracy stuff here, but you think about it, they have the robotic servers or whatever, like on cruise ships, that'll pour your drinks and like get your food, and you can order through like the screen and all that. You've completely taken away face-to-face communication with people. That's why nobody can talk like this anymore. Everything's through a screen. And then it's just like so much stuff is being pushed into like robotics and AI. And now you've got like that where they can make videos, they can make movies, people write songs, they write books. It's just, for lack of a better term, it's really just making all of humanity really, really dumb because we don't have to use our brains anymore. There's people that go into colleges and they put their entire thing into ChatGPT. No, I think there's like a good time and place to use it for certain things. But I'm saying like people just, they don't like use their brain at all anymore. They just like, write me a book. And then they probably just, I'm sure there's books out there that are completely written through ChatGPT, and then like that they write songs, and then for school papers, like they just put the prompt in there. Like I heard about people that they got caught because the teachers started catching on, and then they would hide random words in like the prompt, but they would put it in white font so you wouldn't see it. And kids are so lazy, they just copy the whole thing and paste it, and then they don't even proofread what gets put out from ChatGPT. So you could be writing a book on Genesis, and your teacher put something in there about Frankenstein's monster, and all of a sudden ChatGPT will put random things about Frankenstein in the writing because when you copied and pasted it, it put it in there, but you didn't look. So it's just, there's too much laziness. Anyways, discussion number 2. In what ways might we, like the people of Jesus' time, fail to recognize God's work because it doesn't match our expectations? Good. You look like you have something to say.
No.
What?
No.
I just went on like a 20-minute ramble, so you got your turn now.
People know it's 6:41. I don't get warmed up until about 6:50.
Put your microphone closer since you're hiding. Okay, not like
6:50, 7 o'clock. Is that good? Why are you holding it like that?
Huh? I don't know. Well, you think. So, like, the whole thing with the Messiah that I have been harping on, and that we know if you study the Bible and study the times, they were looking for a military Messiah. They were looking for someone to literally crush the opposition of Rome and to like tackle it down, kill their enemies, free them from their enemies. There was, I can't remember who it was. There was a group of people, I can't remember which block of people that it was anyways. If you know in the comments, tell me, because I'm drawing a blank. But they believed that there was 2 different messiahs, that there was a military one, like a priest one, and then there was a priest one, and then there was like the military one. They needed someone that was like a soldier that was also, and then another person that was like the priestly line. They didn't think that it was supposed to come in both in one, because there was the separation. Like you had the priests in the Old Testament, and then you had like the soldiers also. They didn't have those combined things.
Nothing. I was sitting there thinking, because it's just, I'm listening. Go ahead.
It's just what?
Nothing. The question, I'm laughing. I hope she's okay with it. I don't know. I feel like I should ask her. But a friend of mine, yeah, of course it was a friend of mine. A friend and I were talking this morning. And it's really funny that was, I don't read these discussions. I have trouble with S's. Discussion questions. I don't have. I don't read these before we come on here. I don't know why. I probably should, but I don't. So it's really funny. In what ways do we fail to recognize God's work because it doesn't match our expectations? So,
it never does.
My friend and I were having a conversation, and we were talking about how we pictured our life. One of us was talking about, and I'm not going to say who, it was maybe me or it was maybe her. You never know. And we were talking about how our life, we expected it to be like a Disney movie, right? Mm-hmm. But it ended up being more like the movie 300, Sparta, like a little rough. Definitely two different movies, like Disney and that. So I said, but what's funny is both are traumatic movies. You think of like Lion King, you really break it down. Holy crap.
Most of like the Disney movies, there's
And like
some
Riley said the other day,
tragic thing.
she's like, why in every Disney movie, or why in superheroes in every Disney movie the parents died or one of the parents is dead? She's like, started listing it. She's like, Batman's parents die, and she just started listing all these, Robin's parents, and she listed all, like, and she went down the line, and she's not wrong. Like a lot of these movies, the parents, anyway. So, and I said, the funny thing is like 300, have you seen 300, and a Disney movie, let's say Lion King, they're both traumatic. And what did I say? They're both traumatic, but one tries to cover it with, flowers, and the other one is just as it is. So it's just funny to me that it's like it doesn't match our expectations at all. I can't say what I want to say.
Well, we
want roses, but really daisies are like the best flowers for us. We want.
I don't understand that.
We want something to look like something or be a particular type, but it ends up not really being. Roses are not for us. Daisies are actually for us,
yeah.
And it's like my whole life too, from younger, I thought I was going to do this. I thought I was.
We had our plan.
Yeah, but I'm talking like before you.
Well, yeah.
My thing was horses. I was going to go to Wyoming. My dad and I flew out there. I was set to go to that college. I was eventually, going to be a vet, and it was just animals. I didn't want anything to do with people, nothing to do with people. I mean, I've been riding since I was 7, and when we lived on a boat, my mom said all I would talk about was horses. And she's like, you never even saw a horse. We didn't even have a TV. Like, where did you get this from? We lived in the Virgin Islands. Like, there were no horses, like nothing. And it was that was set from a child. Like, the horses were my life. It was horses, people, animals. I mean, not people, just animals. And it's like now, fast forward to, how old am I?
Doesn't matter.
Anyway, 30s. Fast forward to that, and it's like now I have animals as pets. I have my horses, but all I deal with is people, and that would have been nothing that I ever wanted to do. Like, and if you know me, like that's not what I want to do.
I didn't have any intention of doing this.
So it's just funny, and that your expectations. I would not have been a good vet. I don't have the patience. Don't call me at 2 a.m. I am not driving to your farm to deal with your pregnant mare. Like, absolutely not. The phone is going to be off. Like, look at me as a nurse. I was so irritated when people would call me to go, like, it's just, no, thank you. I would not have been a very good vet. But what I'm doing now, I feel like I'm the best at what I'm doing now. I love my horses, but I do not want to deal with that as a business because it would take the pleasure side of that away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just think it's interesting that we just try to control so much, thinking we know absolutely what's good for us, who's good for us. I resisted Tanya being my friend, and so hard at the beginning. I'm like, I don't know. You're just too much for me. Please go away. And then I went through some really, really, really dark times, and that ended up being the only person, besides you, obviously, that answered the phone, and was really there by my side through all the stuff. She's in the middle of work. I'm calling, crying, absolutely losing my mind, she answered the phone, or immediately texted me, I will answer you as soon as I can, so you never know who is really good for you, what is really good for you at all whatsoever. You really don't. So it's best just to, and I know I kind of went off the topic on this, but it was just funny that I had a very long conversation with someone today about
This same thing.
This same exact thing. And it's really almost, it's foolish to try to think we do have control, because it's a dangerous game. You're playing with a loaded gun. You're playing with a loaded gun that you're not sure if it's pointed at you or not pointed at you, because you don't have the future in your hands. So it's like, why are you trying to control it and turn the gun? You don't know which end the barrel's at.
Yeah.
So stop trying to turn it yourself. Just let who's supposed to turn it, who can see the gun, let them turn it before
That's
you pull
why,
the trigger.
you think like the Bible tells us that God says, his ways are not our ways, his thoughts are not our thoughts.
Church people are not calling me at 2 a.m. because that's why I don't let everybody have my phone number.
Yeah.
And I get mad when y'all give it out.
And that's just wrong. No one should ever give.
Please don't give up my phone number. No, Mimi, I'm not telling people.
So yeah, God's ways are not our ways. They're not our thoughts, and that's a good thing. This is the God who sits outside of time, who knows literally everything, knows every outcome of every path, and knows how to make things the best way possible. You think about how you're a nurse. You think about how your circulatory, how your central nervous system works, how the brain functions, how many muscles it takes to move.
I don't know how I made it out of school.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. But it's just like all of that stuff, and that's just your body. That's not the amount of oxygen levels that need to be in the air and how to maintain that. It doesn't say, how much of anything. It's just everything there's so much order. That's why it's astounding that anyone could believe
thinks
that
it's just chaos.
That it's just like it popped out of nothing.
Well, here's another thing too. Like, why don't zebras breed with lions? How do they know?
Everything. That's what I'm saying. Everything has order to it, and it's just like we see all of that, and it's just we're so right now we're completely desensitized to it. We're completely none of us is even thinking about breathing. If breathing was not autonomous, so many people would be dropping dead from not remembering how to breathe.
Iron lung people know every breath they take. The people that have to be the polio. Oh gosh, I hope it was polio. Yes, it was.
I don't know. I don't know anything about the iron lung. But that's what I'm saying. But it's just like we literally we're so desensitized because we live in this environment. And we go through every day. We don't think about breathing. We don't think about our heart beating, how our brain works, how we even can, you don't think about how you move your eyes or anything like that. And God created all of this.
I'm constantly
and then it's
insecure about how I'm moving my mouth.
We still have the arrogant audacity to approach God and tell him, no, you're wrong. What I want to do is better. What I have in mind is better than what you have in mind for me. That's literally what we do to God with everything. And like the post that I said yesterday, I think it was on Facebook, our desire to control situations, to control outcomes, to control our lives, to control the path of our lives, all of that is looking at the face of God and saying, I don't trust you at all. When you want to control anything. And it's only when you give up the idea of control and realize you don't need to be in control. I don't want to be in control. I'm a mess if I try to be in control.
That's easy for you to say, but the people that, like me, where you just had some just really unfortunate events happen to you, and controlling what you can't control is the only way you can stay safe. And that's a different story. You're like, we can go on a trip, and you're like, where are we going? And you're just, I get really car sick, to where I have to have Dramamine, and then Riley gets car sick and Miley gets car sick, but Carolyn doesn't. And so we all have Dramamine that stays in the Jeep. And I have to drive when we go on road trips, or else it's
Yeah, if we're not towing, you're driving.
Yeah,
which
it's
is
really,
super
really
fun for me. So if
Bro, you nap and then you study.
study and
You're
I
in
nap.
like la la
That's
land.
awesome.
You're just sitting there reading.
what am I doing when I'm towing the camper?
What was my point?
All of y'all are like on your little phones
What
and
was my
tablets,
point?
and
What
I
was
don't
my
know.
point? Oh,
You were saying
man, I had
how
a
it was
really good
easy
point.
for me to.
Oh yeah,
Shrug it
so
off and
you're
not hear
just like we could be driving and you're like, are we going to Georgia or North Carolina? Where are we going again? And me, I've had like we're stopping at Cracker Barrel when we're 4.5 hours in, because then that means we have another 4 hours after that, and it's a good break for the kids because it's a halfway point, and then we can stop there and do that. And you're just like, I'm looking at the menu. Girls, go ahead and know what you want. You know, what do you want, chicken? And they all know what they want, and you're like, well, I'll see when we get there. Where are we going again?
I like to live my life.
So it's like you say that. You're like, just let him have control. But you've got the other personalities that have got, maybe
of course,
something else
everything
going on.
is for anything.
I mean, no
It's
offense.
easy to
you
say.
went from like having your awesome mom who handled everything to another person that's a mini version of your mom that handles everything else.
Well,
you don't have to worry about anything.
I'm not talking about that stuff. I'm
No
talking
offense.
about for our lives. When we have a picture of things that we want in our life,
Easy.
and we want to literally just stay at that.
Yeah, I know.
That is where we get completely off base. That is where you end up in the same realm as the Pharisees that
I did
followed everything to the T.
Yeah.
And they literally got into the mindset that they didn't need a savior, because as long as they followed the rules and the rituals, they would save themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They completely that's the mourning that Jesus had, because that's when, we'll see it. It's coming this Sunday. There's a scripture in the passage for this Sunday where Simeon looks at Mary and he tells her that a sword is going to pierce her heart too, and that
my gosh.
that Jesus is coming causes a division. And he tells us himself, he didn't come for peace, he came to bring a sword, and it would set people within your house against each other. That's just, we have these
No, it's Phillies. It's not Pittsburgh.
we have these ideas of things that we want for our lives, and it's like,
I mean,
you don't realize how ridiculous it is.
And we fought
Yeah.
for like months. And
Because you had an idea.
yeah, I
of
had
what
an
we
idea.
wanted to do.
And can you imagine if you had just
I would die. If I had stayed in that career, I would have died. God told me that. If I had stayed in line work, you guys would have been attending my funeral.
Well, that's really sad.
Well, I told you. No, this is what I was made for. I have so much fun doing this.
As I'm dying every day because I had to deal with it. You're just dragging me along.
No, just the idea, like that's what I was trying to say earlier and just got off topic. But
Sorry.
how God is over everything, ordained all of these things, creation that he made and said it was good and it was perfect, and all of this stuff just works that he made. Mm-hmm. And then we come to him like, no, I want this. This is, it's like we go to him with our ideas, like we're shopping for a car or a house, and it needs to have this paint job, it needs to look like this, it needs to be this specific model, but this specific year,
How does
has
that
all
work
of
out,
these
though?
options and all of this stuff. And it's like we don't realize he is outside of time and he knows the best outcome for everything.
And that's
when
funny.
he's like, no, your idea is dumb, you need to do what I'm wanting you to do.
Oh my gosh.
And we're still like, no, I think it's supposed to be my idea. And it's like, you're really going to tell the God that knows everything about everything and knows the best and wants the best for you, you're going to go, no, that's not what you want for my life. You want for me what I want for me. And we keep trying to force our ideas onto God, and it's like, that doesn't work for anyone.
It doesn't even work when you go to the car dealership like that.
No.
How many times have you gone to a car dealership with an idea of what car you want, and you get there and you leave with a different color or whatever? We've done it every time. The only time we have ever gotten a car that was exactly what we wanted and we're looking for is when we ordered the Jeep with Carvana. That was the only time. I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
Remember, I wanted the
Well, yeah,
black
the one that I
Charger,
got wasn't the
and I
one
got a
that I
silver one.
Yeah.
You remember? Like, it's been every single time. So it didn't even work then. Anyway, we need to do 3.
Number 3, where is it? How can we cultivate a spirit of obedience like the shepherds who responded immediately to God's call without hesitation? How do we do that? We just freaking do it.
Oh, yeah.
Why do you tell God no?
Tell him no.
Yes. When
I'm
we
not
hesitate,
sure.
we're telling God no. That's the bottom line.
The
No,
thing.
it's not.
I
No,
don't
when
know
you're telling
if this
God
is just
no.
an idea that I had in my mind that I want to do, or if it's actually what I'm supposed to do. Like, I don't know. I think you're literally like the favorite or something, because I'm not getting a direct like, yes,
I am not a favorite.
you should do this. I don't know why I picture it being like Mufasa in the heavens, like that voice, but I don't. You get like. You're like, yes, he told me. I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean?
That's because I cultivated that obedience. That's because
well, aren't you just special?
I spent all that time. No, I've said it on here like so many times, almost every week, talking about preaching. Like, you remember, after every sermon, I was like, I hate staring at my iPad. I hate doing this. I hate looking at my notes, blah, blah, blah. And it was finally that one day, that one week, when I was going to start that sermon, the first sermon for the Committed series, where I had a whole different idea. I was gonna preach. Was it First or Second Chronicles? Chapter 20, either way. Jehoshaphat. And I started there, and I was like, no, this doesn't feel right. So then I went back, and I was like, okay, I'll do a series. And then the entire week, it was just like, it felt off. And you were like, I don't think you're supposed to, maybe you're just going about it the wrong way. And I had the same way I always preach. I had 6,000 words written out and completely deleted all of them. Made, I think it was 2 sheets front and back of just yellow legal paper. And I remember I was just like, okay, like, I'm gonna just trust God to meet me. And I came up here, and I remember, I don't know how long, I went for like 45 minutes and never looked at the first. I looked down to see where I was, and I was still on like the second line of the first page. And I was like, oh shoot, like, but ever since then, of just literally trusting him, knowing that that's how I come every single week, even if I'm like, man, I don't know if I've prepared enough. I don't know if I've got, I don't know how I don't know how I'm going to say this. I don't know how I'm going to do it. Like, hopefully, blah, 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 all that stuff that comes well, actually it's getting better now, but every like Friday, I just kind of have that like, am I going to do this right? Because I don't want to mess it up. I take this extremely seriously.
Yeah, you do.
And that's just what I pray.
We no longer have time together at night because he just sits there and he just reads, and I have to watch like diners, drive-ins, and dives by myself.
Yeah. Anyways.
And hotel reviews.
But no,
because we can never
just,
take another trip because we have to be here on the weekends.
Are you done?
No.
Ever since then, that's just that. I'm trying to tell, like, that's how you cultivate that level of obedience.
But I also think that right now, I don't know. Like,
you don't know until you do it. That's the problem.
I know that, but
I'm not saying just. I'm saying in general for everyone else.
I felt like. No. Yeah. Well, I felt like I was supposed to get up here, and I was terrified. And I did do this. And there's a lot of things that I did do. Like, I didn't want to quit nursing and come do this. And then I felt like I needed to. So I did it. And so I am cultivating a spirit of obedience. And
You did to some degree, but there's still more.
I don't think there is more at the moment.
That's why you're nervous laughing.
I'm not nervous laughing at all.
Hashtag there's more, Kelsey.
What?
We're going to make a trend. Hashtag there's more.
Anyways, my point is that right now, what happened?
I'm just reading the news.
My point is, right now it's just been kind of like dead silence. So I don't know if he's frustrated with me for constantly asking, or if it's just I'm supposed to wait for a second and just continue doing what I'm doing. I don't know. So I'm just hanging out. What are you doing?
Why would God give you any more instruction when you haven't done what he's already told you to do?
I don't know if he's told me to do that. I don't know.
I'm just saying,
I'm still in the learning stage of differentiating. Is this a feel, like, if I'm feeling like I want to do this because of my own, like, agenda, or if I'm supposed to. I haven't differentiated that feeling. Like, I'm not master kung fu like you on, like, the differentiating.
All I'm hearing is the mental gymnastics to talk yourself out of what God is wanting you to do.
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm literally just saying.
Well, for
You're not understanding what I'm saying.
in general, perfect. Let's just for the sake of conversation.
We were having a conversation.
When God
Whatever.
tells you something to do, and there's things to pray about and all that, but like that, and then you get just silence, and it's like, to me, why would you get any more instruction?
But he hasn't, like, said to do it. It was just like this feeling of, like,
yeah, you're getting the prompting of the Holy Spirit,
I like
dear.
doing
That's
it.
how, you're getting the prompt. That is called the prompting of the Holy
I also like eating sushi
Spirit.
every day. It can technically give you pinworms. Is God telling me to eat sushi
No,
every day?
that's
Probably
you.
not.
That's not it.
Exactly.
No,
So that's what I'm saying. How do I know the difference? I don't know. Stay tuned for future family rooms when I admit if it was or if it wasn't. There you go. In episode 55, because we do episodes here.
There is. So, anyways, what I was trying to say.
Can we do a vote?
No, hold on.
Okay.
Because we just all over the place.
Okay. What's new?
But that was my point. Was just, you have to, at some point, because I fought it and I fought it.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point, you just have to take the leap of faith. You have to go, okay, I really felt like God was telling me this, or I thought God was telling me this. Not 100% sure. I've been praying about it. Whatever. Don't know, blah, 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 blah. You can do all the gymnastics. But there has to come a day when you take that step of faith. And the only way I can talk about it is just because I can relate to it because I did it. And ever since doing that, the time, the literal second that you say, okay, God, I'm trusting you in this, and I'm trusting you to meet me here with whatever. The minute you trust him and then you act on it and you just take that leap of faith, even when you're not, because I was not ready at all when I came up with the paper notes. I just wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
Because I didn't know. That's not what I was used to.
All week long.
But the minute I did that and I trusted him, he met me there. And then ever since then, that's just how I continue to approach every single Sunday. That's how I approach everything else. Like when something, you're like, oh, you don't worry about anything. Yeah, that's because I know that, like, no matter what comes, God has my back. God is on my side. Like, that doesn't mean I'm not going to suffer at times. It doesn't mean bad things are not going to happen at times. But that just gives me the peace that when something comes my way, it had to go through God's hand first. Mm-hmm. And he's going to lift me out of it at some point. And I'm going to learn something out of it. And that's just how you have to approach situations with,
okay, some of
why
us
am
are
I in
doing
this?
our best.
I'm not talking to anybody. I'm just giving I'm just giving the encouragement that at some point,
oh, we sure are.
You can't. Well, like I said it earlier to someone, you can't sit here and have 10 toes down when you're running. I'm using that phrase, and I'm not going to bring anything else up about it, but I'm using that phrase because that was a good point that God gave me in that moment. Like, you say 10 toes down, standing and fighting. You can't stand and fight when you're turning and fleeing. You can't fight when you're fleeing. You're not 10 toes down if you're running. You've only got 1 foot on the ground at a time. Yeah. You have to plant your feet, stand firm in the faith, and fight the good fight. That's how we do this. And it's just, and I get, like, yeah, I'm at maybe a different point in my walk, and that's okay. Like, for people that aren't there yet, I'm just simply saying at some point in your faith, in your walk with God, you have to just muscle up and then plant your feet and go, okay, I'm not ready, but God thinks I am. I'm going, and I'm going to do it. And if I fail, I fail.
But like right now, we need to move on to the next question.
Like the great Stephen Furtick said in his sermon from this week, I think it was. Or last week, let your failures be God's foundations. You have to be okay with failing. It's like anything in life. When you go and try a new job, you're not perfect at it. You got to figure it out, and then you're going to mess it up at times. You're gonna drop the ball. You're going to let someone down. You're going to fail here and there. That's how you grow. That's how you get experience. But it's like for Christians, I almost said American Christians, but maybe that's what I meant. it's like we approach faith with thinking that we're just going to magically do everything perfect right off the bat.
Well, we've already talked about that. We've already talked about how intimidating it is sometimes with you're stubborn, Tanya.
I should have water.
We've already talked about that. We've covered that whole thing, how it's intimidating.
Of course.
Being on different levels, and that's why a lot of people don't, come to church. Anyways, discussion number 4.
Actually, one more thing.
Oh my gosh.
Because what were you just saying? It's intimidating. Oh, that was one more thing from Stephen Furtick again, and I hate to double quote him. No, I don't, because I don't care. But he said the whole thing of like people that say, oh, God will never give you more than you can handle. That's nowhere in the Bible. And when you think about it, it's really stupid. God is going to let you get into situations that are more than you can handle so that you rely on him. If all he gave you was stuff that was less than you can handle, you would handle it. And you wouldn't rely on God, you would rely on yourself. So the whole God's not going to give you more than you can handle is a joke. That gets you to be your own God. That's not how he works. He's going to give you stuff that will crush you. He's going to give you stuff that's going to be way too much for you to bear just so you will rely on him. Like, that's the whole point of faith.
And not to be confused, like maybe he's not giving it
well,
to
you know what
maybe
I meant. Like,
he's
yeah,
allowing.
that's probably a poor phrasing. But you know what I'm saying? Like, things allow, well, somebody will take it out of context. Whatever.
Whatever.
But like Job, I mean, all that Job went through, God didn't directly do it, but he allowed it to happen to him. Was it more than he could handle? Heck yeah. Are you kidding me? He literally lost everything. But through that, you see in the beginning of Job that he considered himself sinless. We know that no man is without sin. And you see that through all of this testing and everything, you find out that Job had a lot of self-righteousness that he needed to deal with in that time. So that allowed him to work through that. And through all of that crushing, he ends up getting a double blessing, and he worked out that self-righteousness. And it teaches you to rely on God.
Well, and the faith thing, that rolls back into the faith thing that I had. If you're a lady watching this and you're not in our women's fam group, it says the women's fam group hybrid is what it says on the group app. It's so good. Like, I know not every and
that's good, sir.
I think there's like 25 women in it, and not. I think we get a steady, maybe I like 8, maybe I'm wrong, but maybe like 8 of the same women responding and inputting and doing stuff like that. And that's fine, because some people just are not ready to put themselves out there yet, which is totally fine. And so you don't have to join the group being expected to contribute. It makes it nice, but if you're not comfortable, it's fine. But I try to at least put something every single day, and some of the girls do too, women, whatever. And it's so good. So just request to join, and you can just sit there and look and watch. But that was just what I had put on Tuesday, that I put the action. Did I put this in the music chat too?
I think you did.
I don't know. But it just talked about the action of faith that always brought blessing, which you can kind of almost say the action of like what you just said, the action of like the obedience can go along with faith, because you really can't be obedient without having faith. And you can't really have faith without being obedient, because if you have faith, then why would you not be obedient? Because they would both go hand in hand. What?
Did you hear what you just said?
Yeah, I totally heard what he said. We will go right back into the other argument if you want to.
So, discuss.
But, go ahead.
No, I didn't know.
Go ahead.
I didn't know you were done.
Discussion number 4.
Finish your, whatever it was.
No, because
What?
You hurt my feelings.
How? Because it said whatever it was?
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. So, whatever. You don't get any of my homemade chicken noodle soup when we get home. It's really good. I made it with love, and you don't have to have any. You can have leftover pizza.
Okay.
Okay. So the action of faith that brought blessing. So I was just breaking down by faith equaled, I guess it's kind of hard when you're saying it out loud, but by faith equaled the person's action of faith, and I put in all caps, was that equaled, then followed by a blessing from God. What happened?
Huh? Nothing? I'm listening.
Oh. So I just went through Hebrews 11, so if you want to look it up yourself, I grabbed snippets from it, but the entire thing was Hebrews 11, 3 through 31, NIV version. I don't know if it was different for another version, but it's just basically talking about by faith Abel brought God an offering and was commended by God righteous. By faith Enoch earnestly pleased God and he was taken from life, so he wasn't experienced death. So it was like not immediate, that was bad. It was an action of faith, and then they got a blessing. And like I said, I'll wait till I get done. And then by faith Noah, he was warned, and then in fear he built the ark and he saved his entire family, literally the only family. Why are you looking at me like that?
Because I've got...
Oh man, go ahead, yours is gonna be better.
No.
Okay. And by faith he condemned the world and was the heir of righteousness and keeping his faith. And then by faith Abraham, who was called to go into a place, obeyed and he went. Shut up, Jared. Even though he was in a place he did not know where he was going, and was able to receive his inheritance and heirs. By faith Sarah, who was past childbearing age, considered God who made the promise faithful and was able to bear children. By faith Moses hid him for 3 months after he was born, and because they saw he was no ordinary child, they were not afraid of the king's, whatever that word is, and was successful in saving their child, who became Moses. And by faith then Moses, when he had grown up, refused to be known as the son of Pharaoh's daughter, and was successfully delivering his people out of slavery. We're almost done. By faith the army marched around the walls of Jericho for 7 days, and they were given victory. By faith the prostitute Rahab, I hope I said that right,
yeah,
welcomed the spies and was given grace and was not killed by those who were disobedient. Anyway, so the point that I was making was, what happened?
Nothing.
I just see you moving.
Yep.
Sometimes not every action of faith is followed through with an immediate blessing. Sometimes it's 42 years. Sometimes it's not even a person's lifetime, but that's the faith when we know God has spoken, do this, and we don't need to worry about the and was will happen, and it will happen, and there's a lot more to this, but I'm not going to read all that. But it goes with what you were saying. It's like, I'm not going to get back into it because then you're going to laugh.
Being obedient and having faith. I think it was a great point that you had, that faith requires obedience and obedience requires faith.
Yeah.
And two, what I was just going to say was that it's important to also surround yourself with people that have faith. We're supposed to encourage one another and empower one another and build one another up. That's what I try to do by pointing, like just saying things and pointing things out. But what immediately was leaping up in my heart was the time that the paralyzed guy was carried on his bed. Well, we're not giving his name, but he was carried on his bed, and they couldn't get to Jesus, so they had to go up onto the roof, and his friends tore off the roof. That's where the Tear Off the Roof song's from, and lowered him down to Jesus. Mm-hmm. And I can't remember which gospel he says it in, but he says that your friend's faith made you whole.
Yeah.
Like, their act of faith allowed this man to also, and obviously he had the faith too, because he wanted to see Jesus, but it was just like their faith helped out. And same thing with in Acts, when Peter is in prison and the saints start praying, and the prison doors open, and he gets, or I think I'm thinking of two different stories. Anyways, the angel walks him out of the prison and takes him to where they're praying, and he walks up to the locked door as they're still praying for him, while he's in prison, to save him. And the person that sees him, they get so excited and it's unbelievable, they forget to open the door and they run back and get the other people, and then come back to get him. So it's important, of not just the faith that you have, but also surrounding yourself with friends in the faith, with friends that have faith, instead of just having a fight or flight response.
Oh my goodness.
That was just where my head was going.
Oh.
So, you need to find friends that don't have a flight response, that they have a faith and fight response to counteract your fleeing mentality. That way you can help build your faith, because, for a lot of newer Christians, or for lack of a better term, baby Christians that maybe have just began their walk with God, or they're 1 or 2 years in and they haven't really gone through the fires of things yet, and they don't know how all of this works or all of that, it's important to have someone that's maybe a little further along in their faith, further along in their walk with God.
That's why I got you,
to just
buddy.
help you walk through your trials, to help you walk through your fires. It's just important to not only cultivate your, if you want to do the next one, your
No, we still haven't done 4.
faith, but also surrounding yourself with other people's faith. So discussion 4, well, that one kind of lines up with the other question. In what ways might we be putting our own agendas, platforms, or comfort ahead of truly seeking God's presence? I think that one's kind of like the previous question that we did.
See above answer.
Yeah, just rewind the tape.
Rewind the tape.
Be kind, rewind.
Okay, there you go, friend.
There it is. Discussion 5, what does it mean for us to go the extra mile in our spiritual lives? And how might this change our approach to faith and service? Oh, you sound like you're about to say something.
No, I'm just trying not to die on.
What does it mean for us to go the extra mile in our spiritual lives? So,
I mean, I guess, I don't know.
I have
Maybe
something.
this. Okay.
No, go ahead. I have something,
Well, I was
but I
trying to
don't
cover
want
for you.
to be harsh.
Oh. You're worried about being harsh?
Well, y'all
Since
keep
when?
saying I'm so harsh.
Since
No, so
literally
what I
when?
was going to, like, what
You
popped
called
up.
us stupid on Sunday.
We are sheep. Sheep are dumb animals. I am also a sheep. We're dumb.
Oh, I didn't clip that reel when I was doing
If you
reels
have to
today.
put it on there, I don't care.
Oh, and then what was the other one that I was dying laughing today? What was it? And Julie in service, she looked at me, she goes, don't clip that one. It was so cute. She's like, don't clip that one. It was talking
but
about
like going
boning
the-
somebody.
The what?
Never mind. Just
But like going the extra mile. So obviously, like obedience to God, what popped into my head immediately when I read this is just like a daily routine to help build your faith, a daily routine to
Yeah,
help
that's what I was gonna say.
build a relationship with God. So obviously, waking up and reading the daily Bible verse on YouVersion, that's great. At least you're getting something. That's cool.
Yeah, but you got to grow at some point.
That's
because
what I'm saying.
That's what I used to do.
So it's like, just waking up and, a little 5-minute study, that's cool. Going the extra mile is giving up some of your comfort, waking up a little bit earlier instead of hitting the snooze button, and then getting, 30 minutes, an hour of the Bible. Going the extra mile looks like, hey, we're going to turn the TV off at dinner time and talk about Scripture. Or as soon as dinner's done, we're gonna go, sit on the floor of the living room, sit on the couch, whatever.
Yeah.
We're just gonna read the Bible for 15, 20, 30 minutes and just talk to each other about the Word. That would be going the extra mile, because obviously, there's a level of obedience to, I read my Bible today. Okay, but what did you read? Did you study it, or did you just kind of flip it open on somewhere and you just kind of like, oh, this is cool? Yeah.
Well, I mean,
you're
are you
reading,
going to the gym,
but-
and sitting on the machines,
Well, exactly,
or are you
yeah.
going to the gym and you actually doing
yeah.
something?
You're not building muscle if you're not doing things, and you have to.
You're going to the gym. Cool.
Yeah. Well, it's like that. Like a plateau in the gym. You
Yeah.
can lift the same amount of weight,
Yeah.
but eventually you have to increase the weight, or you have
Yeah.
to increase the reps, or you
Yeah.
have to increase something so that because your muscle will grow used to it. Or like the thing when I was getting.
Is this the harsh thing?
I was talking about if you're not spending a lot of time in the Bible. I don't know. I thought
This
it was
is
gonna be
harsh?
rush. Okay, I guess not. But so.
I mean, have you listened to your? This is
Yes.
harsh. Okay. Well,
But
we're super
my
offended.
hand, when I was getting my hand tattoo removed, and it was like you can't do the same. You can't do the same thing every time. So when I went, you start at one level of intensity, and then the next time you go back, since it's in your skin, you have to increase the intensity of the laser to go deeper into your skin to get that next level of pigment out. And then the next time you have to go deeper, and it's just like the same
10
thing.
out of 10, don't
with
recommend.
No, that was terrible. was like that, like with the Bible. So it's just, we approach it with just doing the absolute bare minimum. And it's like, how much are you getting out of that? It'd be like waking up and eating one piece of celery for breakfast. And it's like, okay, you ate something, but what did you get out of it? Was it enough to fill you? Is that enough calories to sustain you for whatever? I mean, you think, like when I was doing line work, if I had like, a slice of orange for breakfast, that's not going to be enough to sustain through a heavy manual labor job. Like you need a certain amount of calories. And that's why I'm always harping on like getting in the Word and having reverence for the Word and trying to read the Bible more. Like, man, and people say that they don't have time. But, the cliche is, you make time for what's important to you. And in reality, if you stepped back for even just a day, 2 days, and documented what you did with your time throughout the day, when you woke up, if it was late enough that you could wake up earlier, or what are you doing at lunch? When you get off of work, when you get out of school.
Yeah, she did say that.
Like you just...
Yeah. Edit that out.
You're gonna just it's like how much time? Look on the screen time on your phone, and I know like you read the physical Bible, but it's like look on the screen time of your phone, and how often do we spend playing games, scrolling Facebook, scrolling TikTok, scrolling YouTube, looking at Pinterest, whatever, or doing anything other than just reading the Bible? It's like, man, if you cut some of that out and just apply that to the scripture, like think about, there's that reel where it's like, what if you took your Bible everywhere you took your phone? It's like, man, I mean, with now when you can listen to it, and there's the ESV app that you can put music in the background, and there's the YouVersion app that you can listen to. It's like you can literally physically listen to the Bible.
I do want to put this week's practical applications. I know that that's kind of special for our sermon discussion group, but I think it would be really great. I don't know. I just feel like, I don't know why I feel it. But okay. YouTube's going to come in 2 separate ones just because it...
Too long?
Yeah. So just hold on. And I just want you to go over them real quick.
Yeah, I'll read it from...
Oh, my gosh.
Facebook.
Okay, hold on.
So I'm going to start reading them because if you're listening to this, you're not going to have it on physical if you're just listening to it in the car. So the practical applications, which this is a section that is in our fam groups. If you're not in one of the sermon discussion groups, I've got one, Kelsey's got one, but
YouTube
I think hers is
really
full.
Messy. Sorry about YouTube. It is really messy, but that's the only way that I could do it.
Just screenshot it if you're on YouTube. But this is something, so we have these fam groups. Mitch and Amanda do one. Brooke has one. I've got one. If you want to start one, you can fill out the thing on the...
Well, I probably think we're going to hold on that because we've got so many right now that aren't full.
Well, yeah, we just need to fill them up. But anyways, if you're not in one, get our app, familychurch.social. Scroll down on the homepage. You can find the download link for the app. And there's the groups tab under connections on our website. Get in a group. Get in a sermon discussion group. We go through and just talk about, there's discuss like this, but they're different discussion questions for the groups, and then we get the practical applications. So for this week, this is your sneak peek into what you're missing out on if you're not in a fam group sermon discussion. The practical applications for this week says, intentionally look for ways God might be working through unexpected people or situations in your life. Journal about what you observe. So that's actually cool because that hits in on how I talked about Mary treasured these things up in her heart. And she stored them up. When I gave the big thing at the end of the sermon, like write down things, journal about them. That way you don't lose them. I mean, you see me all the time, like when we're just anywhere and everywhere, and I'm jotting down a note that God dropped in my head for a sermon or something.
Yep.
So that's important. Like, just journal about what God might be working through unexpected people or situations in your life. Even if it doesn't seem significant or it's minute, but you just might have had an idea that like, oh, God might be using this for something, write it down and date it. I think it's a good idea to date it. Choose one area where you've been hesitant to obey God and make a commitment to take one concrete step of obedience in that area this week. So, like they say with how to eat an elephant or how to start anything, how George R.R. Martin started writing the whole Game of Thrones novels. You have to start somewhere.
That was Tolkien. Oh, that's Lord of the Rings.
That's Lord of the Rings, bro. It all started somewhere,
bad.
and it doesn't matter if you start.
Real quick, I'm going to interrupt you because they've caught up now. I really want to challenge everyone, every single person listening. I don't care if you haven't commented at all. Don't be a wuss. Pick one and literally put it in the chat. Like copy paste one and put it in the chat that you're going to do.
There you go.
There you go. And I don't know how we're going to hold you to it, but God knows.
But God knows. But yeah, put it. I think that's a good idea. Put it in the chat.
Of course,
commit
it's a great
to
idea.
it. And another good thing to tag onto that is, if you have friends, and especially if they come to the church, get an accountability partner. Be like, hey, this is my thing for this week. Check in on me.
Sorry.
So choose one area where you've been hesitant to obey God. Make a commitment to take one concrete step of obedience in that area this week. So it doesn't matter if you start and you stumble. All that matters is you do something. And it doesn't matter if it's just something small. All that matters is that you just take a step.
Okay.
Because once you take that first step, look at your face. Once you take that first step, it's easier to take the next step. And then all the other steps end up becoming easier. The more that you just start pushing towards God and your faith and your obedience, you will find
okay, next one.
that it's easier.
Yeah, we got it.
Be nicer to your husband. Start a spiritual treasures. She thought it was funny.
Who?
That girl on the screen laughing. You.
That's me.
Start a spiritual treasures journal where you record meaningful encounters with God, answered prayers, or spiritual insights to reflect on later. So that's like the journal thing, and that's
cool.
like the thing that I mentioned at the end of the sermon.
Google Keep is a really great. I don't know if people like Google, but Google Keep, it can be on your phone, and it's literally the same thing as having like the iPhone notepad. And
I still have notes
okay, talking to them. Google Keep, and you can access it on your laptop too, and it's all synced. So like if I'm on the computer, and I want to write a note, it's going to be synced on my phone as well. And you can pin them to the top if it's like a grocery list, and you can change it to a different color, and they have like little images where one can be like a forest, like one of the notes can be like a forest and stuff, and it's like really cute. They don't have any super cute like backgrounds though, but they have some. Not a lot.
I used Google Keep when I had my Samsung, but I use Evernote now. And I don't know if you can do it on Google Keep, but on Evernote, you can make notebooks and name the notebooks, and then you can store your notes in specific notebooks. So I have like...
You're fancy.
I have all of my sermons from 2023 in a 2023, and then 24, and then 25.
Cute.
And then I have... whatever.
Love
but then you can also add,
love notes that you're compiling to send to me.
Yeah. And
anyways,
you can do hashtags on them and search by hashtags and stuff like that. So Evernote's really good. Google Keep's good. Any note kind of thing. Spend time meditating on Revelation 19:11-21. How does this passage change your perspective on Jesus? Write down any new insights. I love that one.
Okay.
I love thinking about Jesus and how authoritative and mighty he is. Not like the little baby Jesus that people want to look at, or the little weak woke Jesus that American society wants to, believe about him. Like, more people need to read that passage in Revelation and realize, like, his eyes are burning fire. He's coming back with a sword. Like, he's that dude, and he's coming back to do business.
Big Daddy.
And that was weird.
That was weird.
Identify one person in your life who needs to hear about Jesus. Pray for an opportunity to share your faith with them this week. I'm going to add on to that, if you choose that one, if you choose the last
Nobody
one,
has chosen.
identify. No one has said anything.
Y'all are being little wussy.
Identify one person in your life who needs to hear about Jesus. Pray for an opportunity to share your faith. I'm going to add on that to go ahead and do it. Share your faith.
Yeah.
Even if it's something as small as, man, come with me to church this
Jason's
Sunday.
really good at that. I see him texting he's like, I've got about 15 people. I'm sending
He's
this
texting
message
a lot,
to. I'm
and,
like, dang,
and
bro.
some have came, and some haven't. That's the nature. The nature of the beast kind of thing. But my thing is like, you keep planting those seeds, God will do something from it. Eventually, people, they'll mock you out the gate. They might hate you for changing.
I mean, they probably hate you anyway. So.
Well, yeah, and then they'll mock you or whatever. They'll make fun of you. They'll do all this stuff. But eventually, if you stay persistent and you show them that you believe this and you live this, their mocking, their jokes will turn into curiosity, and then they'll begin asking you questions, and that will help you open that door. But I say, just man, if you're picking that one and you're committing to that one, just go ahead and share your faith. Go ahead and invite them to church. Bring them with you, and do that. So that's the practical applications for this week.
Guess nobody's gonna do them. That's sad. That's really
I'm not
sad.
going to wait.
I'm really disappointed.
So Sunday.
I picked one. Which one are you doing?
Me?
Yeah.
I have to read them again.
Yeah. We'll be the only people doing anything. I'm going to do number 2.
Well, I actually just did the last one a couple nights ago with inviting several of my friends to the Easter
I just invited 421 of my friends to the Easter service on the event.
That's cool. I texted them, inviting them, and then you made the event thing, and then I invited them also on that.
Oh, cool.
So I kind of doubled up on that one. I think I'll do something with one of the journal ones, because I need to get better at writing things down like that.
Yeah, love notes to me. You used to send me really sweet text messages all the time, like paragraphs. You would send me these really sweet paragraphs, and I was like, oh, and I have them saved. I would screenshot them, or I have them saved in my note thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't do that anymore. So I just
live the love.
You just write an Evernote, and you don't send me anything.
Oh my gosh.
And I just watch Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives by myself.
All by yourself.
Crying.
I live in a shack in the backyard.
Eating my snacky snacks. That's why I've gained weight. I'm stressed because I'm so sad.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway,
So
wow, you guys are.
Sunday is the second to last. I think we have 2 more weeks. What in the world?
Hey, Laura, I'm on Family Room right now. Okay, I'll call you back. Love you too, bye.
Your microphone's in your throat. So Sunday, come early, invite a friend. Even if you're not doing that one, invite a friend. Second to the last of the Divine Invasion. We got 2 more in it, 2 more sections, and then we'll be done with the first series in Luke, and then we'll be moving on to the next one in chapter 3, which I can't wait because that's.
He's so excited. Look how excited he is.
I love it.
He's so excited.
But Sunday's going to be good. I've got quite a bit, and. We're gonna be
really sad you guys haven't said anything yet.
Several different topics.
I know all of you, some of you, and I will be texting you. Very disappointed.
That's fine, but come early, and just invite your friends, spread the word, spread the gospel, help us get this out. If you're not partnered with us, consider partnering with us to help get this out. Help us upgrade equipment that needs to get upgraded, and help us pay off the land that we have, if you didn't know. And I think there's some new people on YouTube over there. Shout out to Chesta. We have 55 acres, 10 miles from here.
We're going to do so much cool stuff
we
with
just
that.
bought.
So much cool stuff.
But it has to get paid off, obviously. And then
it's going to be awesome. Where our whole goal, obviously, is focus on getting, the church building, but we really are going to be community stuff.
It's going to be a lot.
Yeah. Homeless, food bank, youth, puppies. Just kidding.
Puppies.
No puppies.
So with that, since nobody is wanting to commit to a thing because
booty heads, it's fine. Good thing Jesus commits to you.
See you guys.
Sorry, I've watched you too much.
That's funny. We will see you guys all on Sunday. We love you. Have a great.
Don't forget to come Saturday night.
Rest of Saturday prayer, 5 p.m.
And
the Bring a Family Board night.
Bring a board. family night.
Yeah. So bring a board game or a game, not a video game, but like, board game or card game or whatever.
If you don't have family, like that's
and if
fine.
you don't have one, just come, because usually people bring more
Just
than
at least
one.
just bring like a
and bring some
thing of
food.
cheese or something
Yeah,
at least.
that's all.
That's all.
Or
Just-
Diet Coke.
Or
So we'll see you guys Sunday. We love you. Have a great rest of your week.
Hey, I hope that message spoke to you today. I want to say thank you to everybody who is involved at Family Church and those who help support this ministry. If you would like to get more involved, you can click the link in the description or head to our website, familychurch.social. We would love to connect with you, and you can find all of our social media platforms on our website. Also, if this message spoke to you in any way today and you liked it, consider sharing it on your social media in any way that you would like, so that we can help reach those far from God and return them to the arms of the Father. We want to see God work through you. We love you. Thanks again for listening. God bless you.